Thank you very much, team. Now, the Pacific Tsunami of September 29, 2009 will always be remembered for the tragic loss of so many lives in Samoa, American Samoa and Tonga. Our next guest, Lani Wendt Young, lived through the disaster again and again when she captured the stories of loss and love. Welcome. Nice to see you.
Thank you.
Take me back to that fateful day. You were in Apia?
Yes, with my family.
And what happened?
The earthquake hit at 6:48, so getting ready for work and for school, and very strong, very powerful. And I remember directly afterwards, we had the radio on, and several minutes afterwards, a very frantic caller made a call from the southern coast, just babbling about, you know, there's been a wave, it's taken everything, we've been hit, and they cut off. And the DJ, there was just sort of this eerie sense of disbelief. I mean, the DJ laughed it off. You know, he was like...
Even though you'd felt the ground shake, it was a prolonged quake.
Yes, very
You still didn't believe that a tsunami was possible or it even hit. That's
right. It was unreal. And, you know, he was like, okay, right, going to music now.
Wow. So. How prepared was that region for the possibility of a tsunami?
You know, I think that the reports show that, and in my experience, that they were actually very well prepared. In the year leading up to that actual event in 2009, the Disaster Management Office in Samoa had launched a very widespread campaign throughout Samoa. We even had a nationwide tsunami drill with evacuating and things like that. But I think there's a difference between knowing something and actually believing it. Many people said to me, we remembered what the TV told us, but we never thought that it could happen in Samoa, because tsunami only happened in other countries.
There was about 15 minutes between the earthquake and the tsunami hitting. So people were just in a state of disbelief. They just think, no, it couldn't happen to us?
I think that for many people that's what it was like. And I spoke with some people who were at a school a little bit inland, and when they heard these cries about, you know, a wave, or some people saying tsunami, some of them ran down to have a look and see, what is it? You know, what will it look like?
There's a lesson for us all there, I think, you know, that sort of being a little bit blasé about it and thinking it can't possibly happen to us. How did you come to be documenting people's experiences of the disaster?
The very first day after the tsunami, I got together with a group of friends. Like many other people in Apia and around the country, we went out to the disaster zone for, you know, the week afterwards and days afterwards, just to work and to take food and supplies. And was also in the hospital helping to, with some of the Western news teams that came, helping to do translation. And 2 weeks after the event, I was contacted by Mr. Joe Kyle, who was a cabinet minister of Samoa at the time, and he commissioned me to start work gathering these stories. And it was important to gather them quickly, you know, while the event was still very, very real, very fresh, before people began to deliberately forget them because it had been so traumatic. What was that like for you? I mean, people lost, I know that people lost up to 20 members of their extended family. They must have been absolutely heartbroken. Did it take a lot out of you? I was really concerned, you know. I mean, here I was asking people to share very, very difficult experiences, and I did worry about how I would be received. But, you know, people there was a hunger. They were desperate to talk and to share. And I would go to people and we would record them speaking, and people would talk for an hour or more. And there just seemed to be a sense of relief that somebody wants to listen, somebody wants to know what's happened to us. And for them then to know that we were going to put it in a book, yeah, it was very challenging. A lot of people's nightmares became my own. I still will never, you know, stay by the ocean. And I'm always very well prepared with escape routes everywhere I go. But I consider it a privilege to have been the person chosen to do that project.
Now, you spoke to many, many people from all different walks of life, aid workers and people that were directly affected. Is there any particular ones that stand out in your mind?
I'll never forget, there was a mother who had, when we visited her, she told us about losing her 9-year-old daughter. And she said that on that first night after the tsunami hit, everybody, of course, had gone inland because, I mean, it was a wasteland and, you know, everything wet and destroyed. But she refused to leave because they hadn't recovered the body of her daughter. And she asked her family to do the impossible. She asked them to make a huge bonfire. And, you know, they had to, it was almost impossible. Everything was wet, but they built this massive fire that they kept burning the whole night because she said, I don't want my daughter to be lost and afraid in the dark. And if she's out there, I want her to be able to find her way home. And, you know, for me, that image of a mum, you know, sitting by this fire has never left me, and just really helped to remind me the importance of treasuring our loved ones and our children and our family members and appreciating them.
Did it change your outlook on life?
Most definitely. I don't think we can hear the stories or read them without being affected in some way. A 16-year-old boy from Auckland who was on holiday at the time, he said, the tsunami showed me that if there's something you want to do in life, something you want to achieve, then make sure you do it. Do it now. Don't wait. Don't put it off. And so I took that. I'd always wanted to be an author and write fantasy books, and so, but always delayed it. You know, you put things off. I've got 5 children, so life can get a little crazy in my house.
From 4 to 17?
Yes. So, yeah, and so after the tsunami book experience, I, you know, made that commitment to finish it and get it done.
Well, it's been very successful. It's a trilogy now, isn't it? And it's for young adults. Tell me about it.
The Telestar trilogy, it's a young adult romance, and it's being described as Twilight Pacifica style, because yes, I think there is, because of the romance, we have young people, but it's also got elements of the supernatural, and it draws a lot on Pacific mythology and puts it into a contemporary setting.
That sounds very good. The mythology, I was going to ask you about that. Having researched it for the book and for your other books, spoken to people, tsunamis, were they part of Pacific mythology handed down? Or?
Well, I think in Samoa, I was very interested in exactly that, especially when I spoke with elderly people, wanting to know, had anything like this happened before, and what had they been told? Out of 150 people, only 8 spoke of either witnessing, you know, waves or being told about them by their elders. And so I think for me that was a real a sign about the importance of the need to share our stories, you know, of even terrible things.
Historically, has that region been hit by something like that?
Yes, it has.
Yeah.
The scientific history shows that, I mean, we go way back to 1886, you know, looking at different ship captains' reports and early newspapers talking about different waves. But time and again, no lives were lost. You know, and I think it's partly because we didn't live on the coast like we live there now, and also partly, of course, because we didn't have as much stuff. You know, I mean, you know, got all these cement and brick homes, and so a lot more damaging when a wave goes through.
Well, it's been lovely to talk to you, Lani. And I'd like to say that all the proceeds from your book, as well, go back to help people in Samoa and around that region, don't they? Good on you. Thank you very much indeed. Now, for more information on all of Lani's books, you can head to our website. Coming up, how much it will hurt and what's the best way to get through. Dr. O'Neill's delivering the options on childbirth. We'll see you soon.